This is your BOMM Wednesday service. I am, as always, Naima Cochrane, better known as the Senior Pastor of Music Sermon and also the Senior Pastor of Wednesday Service. And with me, as always, is my Director of HEPS, not HELPS, HEPS Ministries, Carron Phillips. Carron, how are you today?
I'm fine.
Is that a Kentucky hat?
No, it's a Duke hat.
It is?
Yeah.
It looks like a K.
It is. It's the Coach K 1000 wins hat. It's a 1K for 1000.
That went right over my head.
Mm-hmm.
And you got on a Final Four sweater, even though it's December?
I just felt like throwing something on.
Okay, that's fair.
I almost took a nap and
like you remember what day it was?
It's late again, so I'm here.
So we are coming to you after a little bit of technical difficulties on my point because I'm in South Carolina. I'm at my mother's house, which is not necessarily wired for digital efficiency. So, and we are in the sticks. So
there's a velvet painting of a topless black woman with an afro.
There is not in this house. Not now. But what there is a topless black woman in the kitchen because Miles Davis's Bitches Brew artwork hangs in our kitchen. So I don't know what other black family's house you go to, and there's naked people in the kitchen. There's some titties. There's titties here. There are titties here. There are titties to be found. It's not hard. But anyway, yeah. So live and direct from my mommy's house in South Carolina. And Carron, I knew you were gonna say something about my hair being out. The only reason my hair is out is because it's been braided all day. And I went to rebraid it before we taped, but when I took the braids out, I was like, "Oh, this looks fine. I'm just gonna leave it," because I didn't actually feel like rebraiding it.
Listen, I pay attention to women. Okay, when you be having
your Marcus Graham
collarbone out, the hair be different. You change the bottle placement in your bar card. Nothing surprised me. You sending subtle messages to somebody.
I definitely do not pay attention to the bottle placement in my bar card. That just means that I clean something. But I appreciate your attention to detail. What are you drinking today?
It's my birthday week, so you know.
What day is your birthday?
Friday.
Oh, what are you gonna do? In a panorama.
Can't do nothing. Yeah, Chicago's locked down. I'm gonna get a massage. I'm gonna go to the bathhouse.
I need a massage so bad.
And lay out and float for 90 minutes.
And that's exactly what I need is a bathhouse.
And then I'm gonna get some fancy takeout because you can't go anywhere to eat.
True. Are you gonna do this with company?
That's I don't know how many people are listening to this right now, so I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Okay, you plead the fifth. Fair enough. I can't even be mad.
I'm get myself in trouble.
I can't even be mad. So
like trying to get your boy indicted and jammed up on the internet.
Nah, I was just asking a question.
That's cool. I got you.
That's all.
You owe me one anyway. You owe me one anyway, so we even.
I probably do. I don't even know why, but I'm sure I do.
It was from about 5-6 episodes ago, so we even.
Okay, cool. That's fair. So yeah, I've been in South Carolina for a week now. Actually, I got here last Tuesday, and I quarantined for a couple of days so I could take a COVID test. And
you don't respond to text because I sent you. Did you make it okay? Text didn't get a reply back.
So here's the thing, right? I haven't traveled in so long that I'm not exaggerating when I say that it took my entire brain capacity just to fucking pack, make my flight, make it here. Like I literally couldn't do anything else on Monday until like Thursday, except for I can't even explain it. Like, first of all, I'm gone in theory for a long time. I actually have to run back to New York for a day, but that's another topic. But I'm gone in theory for most of the month. So I haven't flown since February.
Me too. That's the last time I flew.
Yeah, I haven't left my house for 2 weeks or longer since 2018. So whereas I used to be able to really efficiently, like at most I would be gone 2 weeks, even if it was just to come back for a day before getting back on the road. So even just being gone for that spread of time, my stuff, all my packing stuff, travel stuff isn't in the same place it used to be. I used to have a system.
You don't keep your see-through clear goodie bag with your toiletries?
I used to have. I have that, but I had not checked it to see that it was restocked, that things were filled back up.
Is that perfume still in there?
Fortunately, I'm not doing anything while I'm here, so it's not like I had to think too hard about the clothes I wanted to pack. But also, it's like, was I bringing Christmas presents? Was I gonna ship them? I had to bring like the damn ring light, and did I have all the accoutrement I needed to do shit like this? And did I have all my work stuff? And what else? Like, it was just a lot. And then I had to clean out my refrigerator. So like, I got mango and avocado in my carry-on because I didn't want them to go bad. Like, there was a lot happening, right? And because then it's like, and what are my plans and where am I going to put them and what's going to happen? So there was a lot. There was a lot going on. Did I cancel my mail, which I forgot to do? So there was a lot happening. And so when you hit me, I was on the ground. I was exhausted. Or I might have still been in flight because I also had to push back my flight because I just could not get my shit together. So it was like, it was really bad.
Listen to yourself.
It was bad. It was really bad. It was really bad.
Listen to this intro again tomorrow when this goes up. I want you to hear yourself.
I know how I sound.
You don't know how to get on an airplane anymore.
Apparently I don't. Apparently I haven't gotten all that shit. Like, even
church opens up, I want you to walk to the front and throw your body on the altar.
So also, like, Jesus. I have a massive suitcase that is good for 3 weeks that I haven't used since I went to Europe in 2018. And I grabbed it forgetting that I don't like it. I grabbed the carry-on that I don't like because it tips over to the front. So, I need a carry-on that I can stack a bag on top of. It's not that. It keeps it. So even like I had to connect in Atlanta, that automatically means you're about to walk a mile going through Hartsfield Jackson. And I just had
the greatest airport on earth.
I just had I had all the wrong bags and I felt like an amateur. And it was really embarrassing. And I felt like the people that I get behind in line at TSA and I'm annoyed because they don't know what the fuck they doing. I felt like that person, right? So anyway, yeah. So that was a lot. So anyway, I was overwhelmed by it, and of course I had.
So you were the person that everyone's like,
fortunately there was only 3 of us in the line, and I told the other person to go in front of me because it was little things like I have a bracelet that sets off the TSA alarms, so I never put it on until I go through. I had that bitch on. I forgot. And usually if I have it on, I'm already moving when I get, and I was like, oh shit, the bracelet, the thing. It was a lot. So anyway, I got here. I say all that to say, I got here. I was exhausted. People were texting me. I was like, I can't even. And then I had an appointment to take my COVID test. I got in like 11 o'clock on Tuesday night. I had an appointment to take my COVID test at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. I, of course, had not been asleep on Monday night because I'm Naima. Oh, and so I woke up on Wednesday at 12 o'clock. So then I was like, oh shit, I got to still get my COVID test. So fortunately, the place also takes walk-ins. So I just went over there and there was only one other person there. I was in and out in like 10 minutes. So there was a lot going on. I was frazzled. I was frazzled. I was very frazzled. I don't like being frazzled. I don't really do frazzled well, but I was frazzled. So I just didn't have the brain capacity to do anything really at all. It was bad. And I've been there. I've been in like this limited brain capacity since the week before Thanksgiving. I told y'all that. I'm still there. I haven't really come out of it yet. But anyway, now I'm here. And done been to the Christmas. I've done more since Thursday in terms of like going places, doing things, and not being directly around people, but just being in general places where people are, since I've done cumulatively since March, I think. My mother is busy. She like is on the museum board and she's doing some other kind of oral history project of the town. And she was judging a gingerbread contest on Thursday night, and she teaches her Zumba class, and it's a lot going on around here. It's busy. She booked and busy. She keeps it. She's booked and busy around here. So anyway, that's my life. That's my life. So before we get into everything else, let me pause here for the cause, so to speak. This is the part where usually I run down all the other shows and stuff that we have on the Count the Dings feed and the BOMM feed. But this week, I'm going to do a cheat code, and Ben hopefully will forgive me and just tell you, as he said before, to find Count the Dings on YouTube. Because if you are listening to this, you actually have the option to be watching this and watching all our other content at the same time instead of listening. So find Count the Days on YouTube. All our shows are there every day, uploaded, fresh new content. Some days you got 2, some days you got 3. You gotta look, you gotta check back daily, but by all means, please take a look, share, subscribe so you don't miss anything. And feel free to hit me and Carron. We've gotten to the point now where I do get people saying, I hope y'all are going to talk about this on Wednesday, which I love. And also I want to say thank you to Kia for being on the show last week. We had a couple of people hit us. I had a couple people hit me and DM saying that she, really gave them something that they needed to hear at this time. So we are going to have her back.
They don't be tweeting me.
They don't. Are you sure?
They only tweet me about Sean King.
That's it. Sometimes they hit both of us.
Yeah, but that's, I don't get DMs. Ain't nobody asking me questions. It's fine. I like it that way because I know.
Maybe they know. Maybe they know that about you.
I'm quick with the block button.
You are quick with the block button, and you've shared that. I tend to be more conversant with people on Twitter. I think they know that about me. So maybe I just feel like a safer space. That might be. That might be all it is.
Body.
All right, so we have a couple of things we want to go into today. It's an interesting time of year for a COVID year because we're almost at the holidays. We're not quite there yet. I feel like nobody really knows what day of the month it is. It's just like the end of the year. It's just like a big general end of year. Christmas is what, 2 weeks away? Which is crazy.
2.5. That's
crazy. That's so crazy. But people are already like traveling to their destinations for the holiday, doing all of that good stuff. Are you staying in Chicago?
I'm not going anywhere.
Are you going to put any decorations up?
I'm not doing anything.
No, you're not going to get festive at all.
For what?
Do you not like Christmas?
Jesus know my heart.
No, I'm saying do you not like Christmas?
I love Christmas.
Okay, so you're not gonna do it.
I'm just not doing decorations for a house of one.
Why not? Get in the spirit, so you can be in the
spirit. What I'm gonna put up? I don't need a tree to get me in the spirit. You don't have to do
a tree. You could get you could put up some lights.
You know what's gonna have me in the spirit?
What? Okay, fair enough. That's fair. Are you gonna play some music? You got Christmas music?
No, I'm not a Christmas music guy.
Oh God. All right, fine. Moving on. All right, so one of the things that we said we were going to talk about.
I'm going to get tipsy and send you some mistletoe. Late night text, Christmas kind of guy.
You're gonna be sending that joke. If you got some nuts on your chest, what is that? Chestnuts. If you got some nuts on your wall, what is that? Walnuts. If you got some nuts on your chin, never mind.
I'm gonna be like that Future meme.
Just saying about you, hope all is well. Hope your mom is
the best present of this year could have been.
I'm so sorry. I should be unwrapping you under the tree right now. I can see that being you completely.
Yeah.
So as also what's happening right now is that on the global front and the COVID front, as numbers are soaring because Negroes were outside. Negroes and niggas, meaning everybody was outside.
They was in that true kitchen. Throwing that ass
in a circle. Lord Jesus. And those numbers are spiking. There are also the vaccines, 2 different vaccines are quickly coming to market. It looks like they'll be available starting in January here. I think
y'all go first. I'll wait. Catch me in the spring.
Just administered them. They started administering them in the UK yesterday. And I think the first woman to take it is like 90 or her 90th birthday is coming up or something. There's 2 things. The first thing is we probably won't be able to take it till the spring anyway because they're sending it out in waves, right?
Wait.
No, because it's not commercially available yet. So it's going to be like first responders first, high risk people. You just said you don't even want to take it first. See, this is exactly.
I'm saying.
This is how. Right. That's what I'm saying. You probably not gonna be able to get it till spring anyway. But see, this is how niggas get. They be like, I don't want to take it first, and then you be like, well, you can't, and then they be like, oh, why not? I'm gonna take it first. This is what.
No, I meant that like if I was able to get it first, I would have it on my kitchen counter for a while, sitting there.
That's not how vaccines work, Carron.
I'm just saying theoretically, like if I could myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like, let me wait about like August. See how this works out.
It's gonna be a minute anyway. But to your point, there's a whole lot of people talking about what they not gonna do, what they won't do, why. And
I'm gonna take it. I'm just gonna take my time taking it.
A whole new crop of anti-vaxxers has popped up.
Beat it. They gotta go.
Letitia James, isn't that her last name? James?
No, right.
Letitia Wright. Oh, I'm thinking of Khadijah James.
The Flavor magazine?
No, I'm thinking of Letitia James is our AG. Yes, Letitia James is our AG. I know I got that from somewhere.
New York, this Trump that's ready for Trump to get
That's ready for Trump.
So she can drop them 87 indictments.
She's ready. She's on. She's what you call on playing. Ready. So Letitia Wright.
You know when people say on site? She is on site.
B, she's just sitting there like, got it.
Listen, you know when they walk out and they get in the helicopter to leave.
When they land, she's gonna be there
at the step. No, she's gonna be at the steps. Soon as you walk out the door, boom, with some agents.
How you doing?
You ain't getting that helicopter.
How you doing, Mr. Trump? Yeah, she's ready. Which, and by the way, on a separate note, not that we thought this would go anywhere, but the Supreme Court just rejected the Trump team's motion once again to try to impede the Pennsylvania votes, which we all knew was futile. So Trump, I guess stacking that court, which people didn't work like you thought it was going to. But anyway,
I mean, about that right quick, like the hilarious part about all of this is that, fam, you want to throw votes out that also got Republicans elected
to Senate
in other positions.
It's insane. The man is insane.
You what?
No, he just doesn't want to leave office. He wouldn't give a fuck if he lost the Senate if it meant that if he stayed in office, because he knows he's got no cover when he comes out of here. That's all it is. He knows he's got no cover when he comes out. But anyway, so, but also, I will say this, but also, even though it's about Trump not wanting to leave office because his ass is facing debt balloons, indictments, all of that, it also is a stress test to see how much motherfuckers can get away with in terms of trying to subvert the election process. So be clear on that too. Like, they wanted to be like, well, how far could we go? Because like this is the other side of disenfranchisement. Like, sure, let them vote, but we just null them, the vote. We just take away the votes on the other side, and that's the dangerous. That's the very slippery slope. But anyway, so Letitia Wright, better known as Shuri in the Black Panther,
better known as might not get recast as Shuri if she keep this shit up.
Who is supposed to be a scientist and electrical engineer and biochemist and all these amazing things that have to do with science and technology, is apparently an anti-vaxxer. Like, reposted some like this YouTube dude is so random. Like, openly admits he knows nothing about vaccines, but did a whole, like, how you admit you don't know nothing about, how you be like, I don't know nothing about this, but let me do this whole video about it anyway, and people listen to it and repost it. He said,
sounds like Republicans to me. That's what it sounds like.
He said that he remembers growing up, there were like, in his refrigerator, there were like the frozen hamburger patties that you would buy at the store in bulk to cook. And next to them,
the grill?
and next to them were vaccines ready to be taken. And I'm like, I really think he's confusing insulin shots with vaccines. Like, I think that was Big Mama's insulin. Because, they'd be in a little tray. I'm pretty sure that was Big Mama's insulin.
Somebody had the sugars.
Somebody had the sugar at your house. Those were not vaccines. Because he was like, I remember the vaccines that were just sitting there waiting to be taken. And if you can store them with food. It's like, what? So,
keep vaccines at the crib. Like,
nah, that's not how that works at all. That's literally not how it works. So we've got misinformation running rampant. Like, somebody called me a dumbass because I said I was going to take it as soon as I could. And he was like, they didn't even do animal trials. They actually did all the trials they're supposed to do. And they did way above the number of human trials they're supposed to take.
Well, what does he have? They got to give it to the birds first.
I mean, It's all stupid. It's really all very stupid. And then here's the thing, Black people who are listening to this or watching, I understand that historically, right, marginalized people have been used experimentally for medical testing without our consent, without our knowledge. But it's been but the key words there are without our consent or without our knowledge, right? But also what was tested on us were the viruses, not the vaccines. It was more like, what happens if you get this virus? They did it.
Let's go down to Tuskegee, Alabama. And see
that was what happened with the Tuskegee. That's what happened with the Tuskegee experiment. And syphilis is the Trail of Tears. And what was that? Was that smallpox? In the indigenous people. What we're talking about here is a global wide release of an FDA-approved vaccine. That is not analogous to what happened in Tuskegee or what happened in Trail of Tears. Now, when they were saying earlier, like when Xavier University and them were like, Black folks come sign up to be part of the trial, I 100% understood why everybody was like, absolutely the fuck not.
Let's not do that.
We're not doing that.
Especially
but again,
at HBCU, again, let's not do that.
But again, this is not that. This is not targeted demo. This is not, hey, Black. This is everybody, right? So that example, saying Black people have a right to be suspicious because of Tuskegee and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but no. Because this is going to everybody. The other thing,
just everyone do like I do. Take it, but wait before you take it. Let's
you can do that, but you're gonna have to.
Let's let Kelly Loeffler.
But you're gonna have to do that anyway. But the other thing is the what I think people seem to forget, because then people are like, they're gonna, jobs are gonna try to make people have it. That's illegal. Like, y'all seem to forget that immunization is such a part of our lives that we have to have them to enroll in public school.
Yeah.
We have to have them to fly certain places. And you have always had to have certain shots of immunizations to work, especially in the healthcare field. So it is not unusual. You just don't remember, like none of us just remember a new one being added like this. Because we get them all like the first 3 years of our lives.
Every time I move and I get a new doctor and they be like, when your last tetanus shot? I'm like, I don't remember, but give me one just in case.
Right.
Go ahead.
I had to have my shots, and maybe it's because I went to a state school. I had to have my shots on file to enroll in college.
Yeah, I remember that. I still have my card from when I was a baby.
So like this is and like my friend Kelly said, you know how we know they work? Because they motherfucking work. That's how we know they work, because we don't have smallpox, because although y'all trying to bring the measles back like Jordan wearing the 4-5, I swear for God, Jesus Christ, there was when
you brought up the other day about chickenpox on Twitter, and I really forgot that
kids don't get chickenpox anymore.
Don't have chickenpox anymore.
Kids don't get chickenpox anymore, which is incredible. And it was like one day randomly, I was like, wait, I heard of none of my friends' kids having chicken. Them little niggas don't get chickenpox no more. They do not get chickenpox anymore.
That's a rite of passage. I don't feel like that's fair.
It doesn't feel fair.
I missed a week and a half of school.
Like,
I got hit twice.
How?
Like, I woke up. To this day, we do not know. I woke up Monday with a couple on my face in like 4th grade, and my parents was like, it finally got you. Because I had dodged it the first 3 years of elementary. Was out. Tuesday night, it was getting better. Wednesday morning, when I woke up, I had a fresh batch.
Wow.
I will never forget, I counted how many I had on my face. I had 220. I had 250
on your face.
On my face,
Jesus!
Like I had a double dose. It was horrible.
That sounds horrible. And 4th grade also sounds like an awful time to get, because they said the older you are, the worse it hurts. I had mine, I think, in preschool. I had mine in preschool.
Yeah, it was irritating. But after that, I was like, yeah, I think I'm immune to everything.
Yeah, but yeah, like these kids don't even get chickenpox no more. Like, these things work, guys. Science is not something you can actually just openly debate. It'd be one thing if we genuinely didn't know what was going on, but one of the reasons they were able to move so fast with this vaccine is because some of the foundations of it are already taken from the vaccine they have for SARS. and they just had to add, some old shit to it. But
some Lowry's and some
old. They had to put like, I don't know, some Worcestershire sauce in it or something, a bay leaf.
Lemon
pepper. Let it marinate for a minute. Turn it over on a simmer. So yeah, I just want to say,
start picking it up.
Just don't be the people who are being stupid about vaccines. We've been getting vaccinated our whole goddamn lives. Modern medicine, and that's the irony. Modern medicine works so well that y'all don't think we need modern medicine. And people are like, but what about the holistic and blood? Viruses are different. There are holistic treatments that you can have that will alleviate symptoms of a virus. But if holistic treatments worked for viruses, then the indigenous people damn near died out from smallpox. And they were some of the most holistic wellness practitioners we know of ever. Viruses are different. They are a different thing. You need some shit that was cooked up in the lab. Just you need some compound. You need some shit that's on the chemistry chart. Like you need that on the elemental chart.
Viruses are like bullies.
Yeah.
You can't really talk them out of this. You got to have something that's going to whoop their ass.
Right. But that's because our bodies do not naturally have the capacity to fight them. This is what it is. So anyway, that's my rant on that. And Letitia Wright, I saw a meme.
Mess around, don't be in this sequel.
I saw a meme. The Mekhi Phifer picture where he has his head down and a cigarette in his hand, and he just looks really exhausted.
From Paid in Full?
Yeah. Somebody said Ryan Coogler having to rewrite the Black Panther script for the third time after Letitia Wright is an anti-vaxxer. I was like, yo, I feel so bad. Because I know Ryan is like...
Because he's from Oakland. They taking their vaccines in Oakland.
He's like, what are you doing, fam? And somebody really tried to explain to her, because she was on some, she tried to hit the whole I'm just asking a question thing. Because obviously everybody was on her ass.
Oh, you're not.
That's disingenuous. That's disingenuous.
You realize you sound dumb as shit.
And when you have a platform that's especially disingenuous, come on, Ma. I wanted to think better of you.
So for all you people that was like, Shuri should be the next Black Panther, look at your dumb
That's out. That's out.
Your dumb asses.
That's over. That's canceled.
She couldn't fight in the first one? No way.
But
she got to ask for it.
What I don't understand about it is, you can present people with actual, information that comes from years of data and studies and all this other shit, and their counter argument will literally be something they go on YouTube. That's their counter. And they'll tell you that you're the sheep. How does that work, fam?
Naima, all they asked us to do was wear a mask and stay in the house. And niggas at True Kitchen throwing their ass in a circle. For some waffles, for some cheap orange juice, some Andres, and some unsweet waffles.
Not unsweet waffles. Anti-intellectualism is just, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand arguing against that.
That's what happens when a generation grows up with participation medals and everyone telling them they're smart. True. Instead of telling these kids, you dumb as fuck.
And telling them there are no stupid questions.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is what happens. They become adults and they do things like this.
Like make YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm. That people and then spread. Wonder how we got here. Because you know what? We put everybody's picture on the refrigerator. And we didn't tell little kids that they suck. And we didn't cut them from the basketball team.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what happened.
That's true. All right. Moving on. So there's this guy named Kevin Samuels who went viral.
If we had around to tell these kids, we would be in a better place.
Word. We might actually need more Kevin Samuels. So Kevin, if you Google him, he is billed as an image consultant, mostly for men. But I think he also does some kind of advice or something like that. But he went viral last week because a woman was asking him about pulling, a certain kind of dude, who makes a lot of money, who's really affluent, who's really established.
Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, and you can't use 7. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Because everybody says 7.
Oh my God.
He told this woman, and see, this is where I think people got him fucked up at. Because I actually wasn't mad, and people were outraged.
I was not mad at anything he said.
I wasn't mad, and people were really outraged. He told her.
No, people got outraged because they thought he was just, oh, this is somebody coming at black women. Until I was like, no, he did the same thing to a black dude. And the people that were upset were the people who need to hear this information, but they run from it.
Well, here's the thing about what he said. What he said to her was, the kind of man you're looking for, he said, look at examples of them. The kind of man you're looking for does not want mid-30-year-old average looking women. Now, that's where people got mad, because he said average looking, right? And somewhere, because we seem to not, because she was like, no, I think average was fair, because we don't seem to understand what words mean anymore. People take average as an insult. Average means that I can go outside and find several more people who are as attractive as you are. Like, you're not necessarily going to pop if you're in the middle of a room. You're not ugly. You're not unattractive, right? You're just not exceptionally attractive. Like, you're not more attractive than most women. You are. It's average really means you're the norm. Average really means you're the norm. That's what it means. It doesn't mean
I thought Kevin was being kind with his words.
I think average was fair. And she said she had an above average body, and he was like, ma'am. He actually said, don't make me say it. So he also said...
You forget the best part. He was like, you don't even know where the...
I was just about to say that. He actually said, the only man you know like this is like your father or somebody else. He said, which means that you don't know no man like this. You don't know where to find no man like this, which means that you're not supposed to get no man like this, right?
That's not even your world.
Which is also fair. Which is also completely fair. So yeah, but he was very direct about it, which made people upset, because he was like, I'm telling you the truth. And she was like, but let me ask you a question. He was like, you asked me a question. I'm telling you the truth. And that's the problem, is that we actually don't want to hear the truth. We want to hear what we want to hear. And then the same thing with a dude. A guy was asking for advice, and Kevin was like, do you have a big dick? And the guy was like, I mean, I think, I have however many, whatever. He's like, no. Do you have a big dick? And he was like, I mean, I don't really know. He's like, then you don't have a big dick. He was like, if you have a big dick, you know you have a big dick. Which I also have to assume is true. So it's like, and then he was like, don't nobody, so you have a big dick. What was he, like 5'6"? He was overweight.
No, he said you have a little one. You 5'3", you overweight.
And he didn't make no real money. I think
you don't have no degree.
He was like, so who are you?
But he was like, you want tall, successful women to make this much to approach you.
Right.
He was like, for what?
For what? Like, honestly, I'm 100% here. I know people get mad. I'm here for all that shit. That's that. Because honestly, it's real. That shit is real. And there's too many people out there who haven't been hearing the real. Like, more people need to hear the real.
The closest thing that you can compare it to, which I don't even want to compare, is like you could possibly find similarities, would be Ayanla. And I'm like, no, like Ayanla gets disrespectful and mean. He was just honest. And she was someone, like, she came to a fight that she couldn't win.
Right.
And was looking for every way possible to win, where I think if she would have been a different type of woman asking those same questions, he would have still been honest, but gave her honest answers, but they just would have been different.
Well, I think the other thing is, sorry, my lighting is all jacked up here. I think the other thing is, what she was looking for was not to hear this is nobody wants you. She wasn't trying to hear this is out of your league, period. She wanted to find out how to do the things she wanted to do, where he was like, it's not your ministry. And that's what she didn't want to hear. She didn't want to hear it was completely out of her capacity. Exactly. When he was like, you can't even play this game, shawty. This ain't, you on the wrong level.
That controller don't even plug into this system.
It don't. You have the whole wrong gaming system. You can't even do this. I'm here for it though.
It's a
And
PS5 and you got a Super Nintendo. Like this is...
Can you explain to me the appeal of the PS5, by the way?
I don't know. Okay. I don't play video games. I don't watch.
You don't?
Wrestling. I don't understand grown men who do these things unless they have kids. I don't.
Why don't you play video games? You've never played video games?
Yeah, when I was a child, when I was in college, the last video game I bought, there is a PS2 that I use over there sometimes because I keep retro 90s DVDs. And the last game in there is College Football 2009. That's the last time. I got stuff to do.
I don't think there's anything wrong with playing games. I just think you can't do it. I just think you can't do it to the point where, like, the people who buy the whole gaming consoles,
I don't have gaming rules. To me, that's too much. No headphones, nah.
But even I have a PS4. I got one at the beginning of shutdown so I could play Tekken.
Tekken's still around?
Yeah.
I haven't played Tekken.
It's hard as shit now too. It's so hard.
Last time I played Tekken.
It's really hard.
1999 is the last time I played Tekken.
I bought it literally for that. I was like, I want to play Tekken. And I bought a PS4 so I could play Tekken. And I played the first weekend and I stopped. I should start playing again. Oh,
you know why you stopped? Because you're an adult and you have stuff to do.
I stopped because all of a sudden work was busy, but I do want to go back to it because it was fun.
You're an adult and you have stuff to do.
I don't think there's a problem with it though. Okay, anyway. So yeah, look up Keith Samuels when you guys get a chance. And Keith apparently is now on Clubhouse, although I haven't seen him in a room yet, but I'm really excited. But you, dear Carron, who refuses to actually get on Clubhouse, wanted to have a conversation about it. But what did you want to talk about?
Because it's reminded me, and as we talked about, I have a limited view because I refuse to get on there.
Right.
But I just love watching the conversations on my Twitter timeline about it. Mm. And then we have talked before in past episodes about how my private Facebook is the one I've had since 2004. Mm. But I cut everybody off and it's only 200-some people to transfer people over to my public Facebook for work. On that one, I add just about anybody. And right. I don't know 98% of these people. Mm-hmm. And the conversations these people have are mind-blowing. And when I saw a Clubhouse pop up over there, I was like, oh, yeah, I don't think this was the audience that was intended. Right. Who invited this person on here? I have seen some of their posts. And it just feels like Clubhouse is running into that thing that all successful social media platforms deal with when it starts.
Getting
and it's for the cool kids at first. You remember when Gmail came out? Yep. And you had to get an invitation for Gmail?
But that's
Facebook,
the thing.
For Twitter in 08.
But that's the thing. So Clubhouse did it first. And even now, it still requires an invite. But there are so many people on there, it's very easy to get an invite. I'm sitting on 20-something invites right now myself because I don't invite nobody on. But the exclusivity is actually because it's not because it's meant to be exclusive. It's because it's in beta. So when I came on Clubhouse, it was in test flight, which is an early beta mode, which caps at 10,000 people. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I came on platform. There were only 6,000 people on. Literally nobody knew about this shit. I would hit people have you heard of Clubhouse? I had to explain it, whatever. And if you were a new user, you had to wait a week before you could get an invite to invite anybody else on. Because again, they had a cap. They could only hit 10,000 people at this level. Then they opened it up wider to continue their full beta test, which they're still in right now. And they've always said that there's going to come a time, I originally thought it was going to be October, that they were going to open the app wide. So literally from the time I got on the app, I've been like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do once it's wide. Right? I've said that. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to really be here because it's going to change. But I think
I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Let me maximize this shit while I can. And it has changed. Now the app has crossed 100,000 people. So the difference between 6,000 people and 100,000 people is very different, right? Like things change, and the functions of the app have to change in order to accommodate that many people, right? In order to be able to navigate rooms that are divided by conversation and all that other stuff, the algorithm has changed. So it's been interesting to watch as it's grown. But I think one of the things that people get confused about with Clubhouse is not so much that, it's going down or it's selling out. It's hitting the same tipping point that anything hits when you start and it feels exclusive and sexy and small, as it hits that mainstream tipping point where more people start finding out about it, right? But this was always their path, but I think some users get confused, and I had to check myself on this too, is that the app never marketed itself as like some exclusive intimate shit. Mm-hmm. Users hit other users like, yo, this is sexy shit, ain't nobody on it, blah, 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 blah. We did that, right? The app is always, investors have always been like, fam, we put $100 million in this bitch, we want our money back. Like, so they're obviously on press for more users, like, fuck these celebrities, where are their fans? Like, like all of that. Fuck these thought leaders, where are the everyday people? Like, get all that shit going instead of this elitism. So I think part of what is a problem is, and I see this happen, these waves happen every couple of weeks where people get on the app, they've been on the app for a couple of weeks. What's unique about Clubhouse is that you really can kind of shape your Clubhouse experience into whatever you want, right? Like, you can become, all of a sudden you're like a host, or you're a speaker, or you're a coach, or you can
so like
do a lot there.
So you can curate it. Like, as a full-fledged, I believe Twitter is the best social media network. I often tell people who are like, nah, like older people like us is like, yeah, Facebook was college, we're off that. If I do anything, I'm doing IG, post pictures of the fam, right, keep in with people I know. And I was just like, yeah, Twitter, it had like a 1 or 2 year run, and then it was just too much and I got off. And I'm always was like, because you never curated your timeline properly. Right. And I'm like, Twitter's always been about who you follow. Right. Because if you follow the wrong people, it is a wrap. But if you have your news, your fun, your sports, your entertainment, whatever it may be, you get everything that you need, especially in real time. But if you just was on there and you had no idea what you was doing or didn't have any plan, or were on there long enough to figure it out, right? I understand why people are just like, no, but I'm like,
I get that too.
Adult, I think you need to understand that this is how you get news first.
Right. And that is usually what it is. Like, they're following like 20 people, and they're like, I don't understand how to get into the flow of conversation. And it's just like, you're not following up people. And honestly, if I was trying to get on Twitter as a new user right now, I would be overwhelmed as well. So with Clubhouse,
like for instance, I have a homeboy who is in the industry as well, in sports as well, and he's like an IG guy, and it does it every other day. He'll send me something
that you already saw.
And I'm like, fam, that happened last night.
Right.
That happened today. Or it'd be breaking news and was like, that was 2 hours ago. And y'all just like, and I'm like, you can't break news on Instagram. That algorithm for your timeline, like, it's impossible. Right. So I'm like, by the time you seeing something that you think is real, or like, oh, I didn't know about this, I'm like, we've had a conversation, and there have been 12 jokes about this already, and you just thinking you know the hottest info on earth, and it was like, fam, that was yesterday.
Because you just caught on to it.
You just now getting it.
You just now got it. So the thing about Clubhouse is, I'm sorry, my light is distracting the hell out of me. Okay, so the thing about Clubhouse, it's distracting me so crazy. So the thing about Clubhouse is, it's not just curating a following because you don't have a steady feed of content, right? But what you can do is be intentional about what experience you want to have there, which means you can choose what conversations you're going to be part of. You can start conversations to lead, right? If there's something that people aren't talking about that you want to hear more of, you can do that. Like, you can open the room.
Like a throwback message board from back in the day.
It kind of is like that. Yeah, it kind of is like that. And it's like if you are engaging, if people know you, if you know how to moderate, if you know how to keep a conversation going, you can easily become like a very popular person over there, right? So for example, I'm going to use myself as an example, even though I'm not on it as much as I used to be. But
I knew it was coming.
No, in my early days, I was on there a lot. So, I was building.
Listen, your pitch to me was solid.
I was on there a lot. I'm back on semi-frequently, not nearly as much as I used to be. I used to definitely be on that bitch every night from like midnight to literally 6 a.m. But
the melatonin.
As my following was growing, now I guess the algorithm suggests me to people to follow. I have 21,000 followers on Clubhouse, which is a lot of followers on Clubhouse. Like in comparison, 21 Savage has like 24,000 followers. You know what I mean? So it's like
What you doing? ASMR? What you doing?
I'm not even on there that much. That's just the algorithm. Because so many people follow me.
Let me find out you girl 6.
No, I literally be doing the shit that I do here and everywhere, and
that joke put over so many people's head. It's like, what's that? Girl, who? What are you talking about?
But even like last night, I was in a relationship room. We were giving people advice that sprang off of there was like a real time breakup that happened on the platform.
What?
Not like a for real breakup, but like
come on, man,
a fly out that went left.
So they
talked, but it rolled over into a post room that ended up being a really good room with a conversation about relationships.
People love to take private affairs public.
People like attention. And that's the thing. So that brings me to my main point.
Niggas need a hug.
People like attention. So what you end up hearing about from Clubhouse most of the time is the most salacious shit. So like, yes, you're gonna hear that like Chet Hanks was in a room where people were asking this white man why he speaks patois. Or you're gonna hear about
that Tyrese was on there.
Yeah, Tyrese was apparently on there
for no reason.
Kevin Hart was in a room where people were talking about whether or not he was funny, and that conversation went left, which was not completely his fault. It was kind of fault of people on stage. Like not everybody knows how to act when somebody gets on that's like a personality, but the whole point of Clubhouse is supposed to be a certain amount of egalitarianism. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Is that the right word?
Naima, we were on a Twitter call for Black people with Jack, and people showed their ass and Snapchat.
Correct. And so that's a perfect example, though, right? You see how people acted when Jack was on.
I was like,
the thing about Clubhouse that is really interesting. And if people are wondering what me and Carron are talking about, we're part of like the Twitter Blackbirds, which is the Black people that Twitter kind of get for feedback and stuff like that from.
We get like, free stuff with our name on
super users. I finally got my sweatsuit, by the way. Finally, I was excited.
We should pick a day and wear them.
We should.
And be Topsy and Bopsy.
Let's do that next week.
Okay.
We're gonna do that next week.
I ain't got shit else to do.
Why not? Let's do that next week. But you saw how people showed their ass with Jack, right? Mm-hmm. So the founders of Clubhouse are still very much active on
after they fed us for free.
After people was drunk off Twitter's dime, full and drunk off Twitter's dime. The founders of Clubhouse are still very active on the app, and they're really accessible. They do a town hall every Sunday. They bring people up on stage. You can talk to them. They come into rooms. They listen in. They join stages, whatever. You can email them.
Zuckerberg wasn't doing that in 0405.
Oh, hell no. And Jack
he had his face up there on the original Facebook, though. He was like, who was this white man?
And even Jack now is like in a fucking cabin on a mountain somewhere growing a beard.
I don't blame him.
I don't think he got the money to do that. So, but proximity makes some people show their ass, right? They'd be like, if you here in front of me, I'm so determined not to defer to you that I'm actually going to be rude to you type shit, right? And I think that's
part of... who those people are? I'm just going to be honest.
Who?
I figured out who those people are. I've been around those people.
Who are those people?
I have seen those people in forums. Those are people who have never been popular for any moment of their life.
I just think that it's people who Like, if you're used to having a certain proximity to people in power or people who are famous, popular, well-known, whatever, people don't always know how to just treat those people normally. So they think treating those people normally means treating them like shit, when it really just means treating them normally.
Those people have never been popular in certain segments of life.
Right.
Because if you've ever been popular in certain segments of life, you know what it is to have attention and how it feels when you're the person everyone has eyeballs on.
Right.
So when you're around actual popular people, you're not necessarily bothering them or running up on them, because on a very smaller scale, you kind of know what that feels like.
Right.
If you ain't never known what that shit feel like, and you've always wanted that shit, and you finally get your chance, you about to show your ass.
It's unfortunate, but that's also what you see happen when these rooms go left with these celebrities in it. That's what, for example, that's what happened with Kevin Hart. You had one person who was determined to kind of go in a back and forth with Kevin Hart, and you had other people who were determined to like protect Kevin Hart at all costs. So it wasn't even really about Kevin.
That went at Kevin Hart would do anything to be Kevin Hart or live Kevin Hart's life.
I think they really don't like Kevin Hart. It was a woman, a young woman. I think she felt like her beef with Kevin Hart was valid, but the thing that was making her,
did he do something personal to her? Like,
you know what it was? I'll be honest. So Kevin came on, and this is what happens with some of the people. They come on the stage with the whole like, nah, treat me like anybody type thing, right?
No,
like,
no, you don't want that.
Just ask me questions. Treat me like I'm anybody. If I didn't, and this is what he said, he was like, you know, if I wasn't,
like I'm Kevin Hart.
if I wasn't down to answer questions, I wouldn't be here. And like one of his boys had pinged him to come in the room. So the first question was about, because it was
calling your daughter on the special.
Exactly. So he basically was like, that's not what I meant. Blah blah. Like, I'm not even bothered about it because that's not what I meant.
Hilarious joke.
Yeah, he's like, that's not what I meant. And so the thing about Kevin that bothers me, and this is relevant, you'll see why in a second, is that I understand when people say that comedians don't necessarily need to defend anything they do or their work or their jokes. But with Kevin specifically, he usually has two responses. The one is, like he did with his door joke. Well, I ain't mean like that, so that's that. And the second is, I'm trying to be positive and everybody's trying to bring up negative shit. Right? Mm-hmm. So he went there. He went with the, I'm trying to be positive and everybody's bringing up negative shit. And then he went on the whole, black people love to bury our own. And one of the examples he used was the fact that Cosby's conviction came off of a Hannibal Buress act, right?
But people knew about this shit forever.
People have been known about it, which he didn't seem to realize. He was like, there had never been any investigation. Nobody had known, which is a lie. People have been talking about Cosby shit for decades, literally for decades. There have been like People magazine coverage about it, but it just never stuck, right? So
there hadn't been a moment in time where it grabbed everyone's attention like Hannibal's and Buress's joke.
I think it was a perfect zeitgeist because Cosby's older. He's far enough removed from like the kind of
touch you,
idolized, praise and America's Black Dad or America's Dad period.
He even said enough fucked up shit before.
He said enough fucked up shit. The virality of the internet. And
he fell asleep at my Spelman sister's classmate's graduation when he was a speaker.
Just people, it was just the right moment. He was far enough removed from the giant Cosby-ness for it to finally take hold. But think about how long that took. The man's in his 80s now. So anyway, the thing with Kevin saying that is that he put it in the middle of a bunch of examples that were negatives, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, so are you saying Cosby's not guilty? He's like, nah, Cosby 100% needed to go to jail. It was right. It was whatever. But the term he was using was that Hannibal took Cosby down.
No.
And like that, like you work in words for a living, my nigga. So you know what you said when you said that, even though he tried to backtrack it. So this young lady was asking him, why did you use that verbiage?
Ooh,
about this, right?
Okay.
He answered by deflecting and saying, let me ask you a question. Do you think I believe that Cosby's innocent? And she was like, no. And he was like, do you believe, that I think, did I say that Cosby needs to be in jail? And she was like, yes. He was like, then why are you asking me that question? What's your intent? What? And I was like, no, you understand what the question was. Like, you're deflecting. So she got mad and she called everybody on stage a dick rider. It was like, it took a minute to get
that deep.
Right.
I figured out Kevin Hart's problem. It's twofold. And I say this as a huge Kevin Hart fan. But when people say, oh, he's not that funny to me, or I don't like this or like this, I'm like, cool, because like I don't argue people's taste as a
That's
grown-up
subjective.
anymore.
Yeah,
like,
it's subjective.
I try to not do that anymore. But this is what I figured out as a long-time Kevin Hart fan. One, it was one of them Facebook comedians. It was one of his videos. I forgot his name. Sorry. But he brought it up. And he was like, the funny part, I'll tackle that part first. He was like, he doesn't think Kevin's less funny. He just thinks his funny is spread out too much now. He was like, Kevin came up talking about his family, and he was doing these yearly specials, Grown Little Man and Seriously Funny, which are my top 5 specials ever. Right. And he was like, you was seeing Kevin like once a year. He was coming up, and he was talking about his family and his trials and tribulations. And then he was like, Kevin blew up. He got super rich. He wasn't relatable anymore because he's rich. He said talk about his family, but he was like, it's not you getting these once a year specials from Kevin where he can put all this funny into that. He was like, there's specials. There's 3 to 4 movies a year. He's got to be funny. Right. There's a podcast. There's a radio show. There's Cold as Balls. There's TV appearances. He was like, yo, you see Kevin Hart like every damn day and expect him to be funny, where before you didn't see him. When he showed up, he was funny. He went away, showed up, he's funny again. It was just like, it's oversaturation of Kevin Hart.
That theory makes sense, but I have a separate theory, right?
Let me get the second part.
Okay, go ahead.
And the second part is with everything from the Oscars to this thing about the joke. And I sat back and I watched it. And I liked the No Fucks Given special. Like, some parts was hilarious, some parts weren't so funny. But
somebody overall, pointed out to me it's the first Kevin special where there wasn't a catchphrase.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And which I think is significant.
What I realized is that I've seen this over the years. I was like, oh, Kevin cares too much about being liked.
Correct.
Because I was like, fam, you released a special called No Fucks Given the very next day, because I watched it first day. I saw somebody bring up the daughter moment, and you went in straight defense mode. If you don't have no more fucks to give, if you don't give a fuck, then immediately a day later did you start giving a fuck? He gives all the fucks.
Kevin always goes on defense.
But this is what happens when you want to be liked, because I'm like, here, and this is how you lose fans. If you say you're this, but then you turn out to not be that immediately. And I was like, this is why other comedians have stood the face of time after doing fucked up shit. I'm like, we know Mike Epps is going to say some wild shit every now and then, but Mike Epps is going to be Mike Epps.
Right.
Cat Williams stays wilding. But Cat Williams, like Cat Williams has said stuff on interviews that has been a complete lie and fabrication.
But
no, that's Cat.
But Cat is also a better comedian than Kevin Hart. He's funnier, he's smarter, he's whatever. Here's what I think.
I don't argue about
here's
that.
What I think. Here's what I think the problem is with Kevin.
I will finish.
Nigga, how long is this theory?
I'm a writer. I'm just saying, if you are something,
our show has a limited amount of time.
And people either hate it or love it, but you are authentically that all the time.
Right.
They have to respect it. Kevin is trying to be this or that for everybody, and then that's when people lose their respect for you, and you get in the clubhouse and you get your ass jammed up.
So you are right that where Kevin always gets himself into trouble is when he goes into defense mode, and he always goes into defense mode. It's like little man syndrome or something. But
and Cat Williams would just be like, "Fuck y'all."
Cat Williams was like, "Fuck," and it has cost Cat dearly, because Cat should actually have a much larger career. But because I think Cat is fucking I think he's fucking brilliant. I do not think Kevin is. I think Kevin is funny, but I think he's a funny comedian. I don't think he's a smart comedian. And what I mean by that is, like, Kevin's comedy, you could take it right at face value. Like, there's nothing underneath it. You know what I mean? There's nothing else. There's
not
nothing
gonna
else.
Make you think like Chappelle or Rob.
Yeah, it's not gonna make you like Cat Williams has jokes about the word insurgent. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna make you be like, oh shit, this nigga really just gave me something to think about, right? So, but with Kevin, I think Kevin, kind of to the point of your example, cares more about the business than about his art. And as a result of that, he's telling jokes on the same level that he did in the two specials that you mentioned, right?
That was 09.
Yeah,
10.
It hasn't elevated. All that's changed is that the situations that his family is in the jokes has changed. Mm-hmm. The joke structures haven't changed. The subject matter hasn't changed. The depth hasn't changed. So, but it's kind of like with Tyler Perry, where it's like, Tyler, if you want to write the script yourself, you know, do the wigs yourself, do the makeup yourself, do the craft services yourself. You can't be mad when we watch it.
And do 2 seasons in a week and a half.
Right, and you can't be mad when we look at it and say, nigga, it looks like you did the script yourself, did the wigs yourself, did the craft services. You know what I mean? Like, you can't want to be praised for artistic integrity and at the same time want to shoot a whole season of a show on a $350 budget in a day and a half. Like, it can't go both ways. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't. You gotta choose one or the other. Right?
They wear their own clothes and stuff.
So it's like you cannot have both. You cannot have.
They'll be like, damn, player, where you get that suit on that telephone show?
You
man,
cannot
I guess I got that from the crib.
You cannot have the wig sitting on top of the head and be mad when we say the wig look like it was sitting on top of that. So Kevin is that.
McCann Brooks will never live that down.
Oh, I don't know why he did that. So Kevin is we've gone all the way around Clubhouse. So Kevin in Clubhouse. The reason this comes out to Twitter is because as soon as things start getting salacious in Clubhouse, there is no text option in Clubhouse at all whatsoever. There is no DMs in Clubhouse. There is no chat function in Clubhouse. That's why these things spill out onto social media, because there is no text option in Clubhouse at all whatsoever. So I say that to say that it's not so much that Clubhouse is worse or progressing at a different rate or anything differently than these other platforms. I think the difference is that we have these other platforms to document what's going on in Clubhouse as it's growing. And that the exclusivity of it right now makes niggas put more on it, right? Like, oh, it's this fancy invite-only app, but y'all in there being ghetto type shit. So, but pretty soon it'll be open.
So Clubhouse, what you're saying is Clubhouse doesn't have a voice.
Clubhouse does not have one voice. Clubhouse is not. There is definitely a black Clubhouse, but there's like an older black Clubhouse, a younger black Clubhouse, a music industry black Clubhouse, an Atlanta black Clubhouse, and LA black. Just like any.
No, what I mean by that, what I'm saying is like, with no DM option or no text option, there is nothing to cut stuff off or have side conversations.
So what people do is you are able to,
like, Clubhouse can't speak for itself. You got to jump on something else to talk about Clubhouse.
Correct.
You can't say that in Clubhouse because it's just talking. So that in itself, like, it doesn't have a voice.
It's just talking. And if you're in an audience of a room, every room is split between the people whose mics are active, that's considered a stage, and the people who are just listening, and that's the audience. And so
stage and mics. This is a high school auditorium.
No, but like meaning your mic on your phone, right? So there's a certain number of people, depending on who's moderating the room. They determine who actually has an active mic in the room to join the conversation. Because when you hear there are 3,000 people in a room, all 3,000 of the motherfuckers ain't talking. You know what I mean? So it depends on how many people are on the stage. And so yeah, you can say something there. You can change your Abby to different images. If you want to put something, a notes app in your Abby, you can do that. But in your bios, you are able to connect to your Twitter and your Instagram, so that if you do want people to be able to DM you on one of those platforms, they can just press the button and go straight there. So people do back channeling. They do DM, they do Twitter DM, Instagram.
Yeah, but
DM,
you can't actually talk.
But there's no DM function on the app. And I do appreciate also that there's no chat.
What if you want to shoot that shot though?
You got to go in DMs elsewhere, or you have the option now, which is relatively new, to start a private room with somebody that nobody else can come in except those two people, except you and that other person. So it'd be like FaceTime audio.
Recorded.
So the other thing about recording is now the rooms are recorded in a way by the app, but they're not recorded and kept. They're recorded kind of on a loop. They record an hour at a time on a loop, unless somebody reports activity in the room for harassment, bullying, in which case they save that part of the file to go back and review. It is against community guidelines to record a room because you're recording people talking without their knowledge. It's not the same as reposting content from like an Instagram live or something like that. Yeah, because in that case, you've posted something with the knowledge that it could possibly be seen widely and seen indefinitely and shared indefinitely. Whereas in Clubhouse, you at least have the assumption that this is live and that's it, right? Like, and that's also why people are so addicted to it, because it's one and done. There's no playback, there's no archive, there's no whatever. It's like if you missed the conversation in real time, you missed it. So people have learned that part about the recording rooms the hard way, because if people report it, you're getting suspended from the app. It may not be a permanent suspension, but you're getting suspended from the app. So, but because it's 2020, I would say that you should always assume that there's a possibility of you being recorded because it's 2020.
Feds always out here. Feds is always out here.
So yeah. But that's the thing. It's still a very interesting place and it's unique in what it offers, because like, yeah, you can talk to people on IG Live, but that's a 2-person conversation. So to be able to be in a conversation, like I've been in a room with like Tiffany Haddish, J.R. Smith, Raheem Devon, and like a bunch of other people. It's like 2:00 in the morning, and we're like literally hosting a talent show where we're calling people up on stage to like sing, do a poem, play an instrument. Like it's like you never know what the fuck might. And it evolved out of Tiffany wanting somebody to do a prayer. So we did an audition for people to do a prayer. So you had to say your 3 favorite books of the Bible, and we had to see how deep your voice was. And then once we found the person to do the prayer,
I love Tiffany Haddish.
Right. So then after we found because she was like, we need to see how deep your voice is. And I was like, we also need to know if you know the words. So I need to know your 3 favorite books of the Bible. And then once we had the person to do the prayer, other people kept coming up. And I was like, all right, so do you want to do an offertory song? Do you want to do a scripture? Do you have a poem? And it turned into like a legit talent show. So we just had people coming up, sharing music. One girl, one sis was playing the saxophone. Like another dude was playing keys.
Gilliam and Harlem.
It was hilarious. But that's what I'm saying. Like we could not have planned that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of shit that pops off. There was a room for Jay's birthday where like Clark Kent was telling the story of how they did the Brooklyn's Finest recording and the fact that, you know, Big heard Clark playing it, Big wanted it, and Clark was like, it was for Jay, and Big was like, you give that motherfucker everything. You know, like it just, these are stories that you're not going to hear, you haven't heard, you know, and that's still the unique thing about it. There's bullshit there, but you can find gems there. You can find learning there. So there's a panel. I was in a panel or listening in on a panel the other week about, you know, public speaking. There's panels for script writers, for, you know, people who want to pitch to venture capitalists, for, you know, basically anything. You got to just find your area.
It, like Twitter.
You got to curate it, and you got to be intentional. Because if you want to just go on there and use it as a party app, and you know hop around,
there's
a party. I liken it to a conference, right? So in the big, you got big, you know, keynotes or panel conversations happening in huge ballrooms, right? Where maybe there's a one-on-one or there's just a select number of people on stage. Then you have maybe fireside chats that allow Q&A from the audience in like some smaller size conference rooms. And then you might also have like more intimate, like working workshops, panels, whatever you want to call it, working sessions. Yeah. But you also might drop in on the hospitality suite. But you also might go through like a happy hour. But then also like your friends are staying.
Hotel lobby bar.
Right. But then also like your friends are staying in a hotel too. So you're going to hop through a room. You know, it's like that type of situation and scale.
I got you. Yeah. That's a good example.
Yeah.
Rob told us we ran over our time.
I already knew that.
We've been talking too much.
We've been talking a lot.
We in trouble. We got to be in detention.
We're not in trouble. We're not going to be in detention. We tend to go over. I think we go over more than we don't. Wait, what did we miss? What else were we supposed to be talking about today? I think we actually
that privileged white girl on the red table.
Oh, she'll be all right. We can save that.
Yes, yeah.
I did want to mention before we get out of here that if you are not following Auntie, I think my computer is sideways too. It's a lot going on. If you are not following Auntie Dionne Warwick on Twitter, you might want to. She's the hottest thing on the app right now. She is the newest Twitter influencer. She has been active for a couple of weeks now. And her tweets are really hilarious. Like, she has asked if you have D in your name, she wants to know why. So she asked Chance. She was like, if people know you're a rapper, then why does your name have to be Chance D Rapper? And he was like, ma'am, I'm just flattered that you know who I am. I'll be whatever you want me to be. I'll change my name right now. She has said, millennials, I need to know why y'all are always. I need to know why y'all are always screaming and yelling. And do I need to be screaming? What does that mean? So they had to explain to her that means they're laughing. But people keep saying they don't believe it's Dionne handling her socials. So she keeps posting these videos that's basically like, hi, hey, y'all got a lot to say. It's me. Let the record show.
Dionne Warwick ain't the one you want to pop off at, y'all.
That New Jersey is coming out. The jersey about to come. I was like, I retweeted like, y'all please stop playing on Auntie Dionne's phone because the jersey about to come out. So she wants y'all to know there's her on the app. She asked what WAP meant? No. Jack A said that Marley Gibbs called her and asked what WAP meant, and she wouldn't tell her. It started with Dionne saying that as an artist on Spotify, they can see all the playlists that you put their music into. So she was like, I want y'all to know, like, did y'all know that we can see the playlist that, just FYI.
You're breaking up.
Can you guys still hear me?
You're breaking up. You back. I'm
back? Okay. We'll wrap up though.
You went Lazarus on us.
We'll wrap it up. So yeah, I want you guys, I know that you said you won't because you're rude, Carron, but I encourage everybody to follow Auntie Dionne.
And listen, once I make up my mind, my mind's made up.
I know, you're so stubborn.
But
you're really stubborn.
I peruse through her timeline though for some jokes. I'm not gonna hit that follow button though. I can't do it.
That's fair. I think you should at least be aware.
Yeah. I've seen the videos. I've seen the retweets. I know what's up.
Okay.
I'm just not hitting that button. I'm not doing it.
Okay. So last thing before we go. Next week is next week versus week after next with Ashanti.
Is it this week?
No, it's not this week.
It's not.
Yeah. It's next week. They announced it early. I think we got a minute on that.
Wait, where is it? Let me see. Because I don't know. That's it.
You know what? Actually, fuck
this is bad.
I'm not gonna say fuck versus, but
it's Saturday.
It is this Saturday?
It's Saturday.
Oh, all right. We'll talk about next week.
Yes.
Also Saturday, which is very important, which is the most genius marketing event I've ever seen in my life. Lifetime Movies is doing a mini movie about Colonel Sanders. It's a romance. Starring Mario.
I thought it already came out today.
I think it comes out Saturday. Starring Mario Lopez.
I thought it was out today.
Starring Mario Lopez. At noon.
Breaking up again. Come on, Lazarus.
At noon on Saturday. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, you back, Lazarus.
I'm back. Okay, I'm wrapping up.
Walk out that tune.
I'm wrapping up. All right. So anyway, that's happening on Saturday. I'm watching that. So I'll be ready to talk about that next week. We'll be ready to talk about Versus next week. As always, you could have been listening to or watching anybody in the world. You chose to be here with us. We are appreciative of it, and we will see you next week. Oh, any final words, Carron? That's your final word?
It's my birthday on Friday.
Happy early birthday, boo. How old are you going to be?
37.
You're still youngish. God bless.
Cougars always want to talk down to you, boy.
I'm not. First of all, I do not claim cougar.
Got you. Got your ass.
I do not claim that. I don't.
Got your ass. You a little puma. You a little puma. Though.
I don't claim it. I don't claim it at all. All right. Happy early birthday, Carron.
Lady Eloise.
We'll see y'all next week. Bye.